Welcome to the podcast. Stop Crying Poser, greatest podcast known to man as voted by everyone who's ever jumped down the Carlsbad Gap. I'm talking Andrew Reynolds. I'm talking Josh Casper. I'm talking about Brandon Turner. I'm talking about Jeremy Ray. I mean, this is the podcast they want to listen to. If you're watching this on YouTube, who was your favorite Carlsbad skateboarder? Shout out to everyone who chose to tune in live here on twitch.tv/Ninja Lifestyle. We do this podcast every single Friday, right around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. We got The Real Griff, DK, Fat Rez, iBook Boy donated 1,000 bits. Small Paul Raygun, D-Trick, Low Key, Support the Farts, and Kurt Smooth. I appreciate you guys for being here and hanging out. 23 Blue Dude. I have plenty of topics, but first, let's do a recap on the week. If you remember, I was very excited last week. We were going to do the skateboarding reunion. I was going to go back to my skate park that I grew up at, and one guy came back from another country. I thought it was going to be just, 5 people barbecuing some hot dogs. Turns out it was a humongous skateboarding event. There were hundreds of people there. It was multiple best trick contests with awards and money on the line and prizes. There were music. They brought boxes and ramps and vans and tents, and there were different tents selling things and clothing brands and people filming videos. It was the most active I've seen my home skate park in years. And something happened that I did not expect at all. So let me start by explaining. I get there and I kind of decided, I probably don't want to skate. Probably just want to hang out, catch up with my friends. So I brought my dog. I also brought my skateboard, but I did not bring my camera. I had no plans of filming anything. So why bring my camera? I thought it was going to be just a really small event. Turns out it was huge, bigger than some of the Am Jams. And Am Jams were our big state or city-run tournaments back in the day. It was bigger even than some of those. The only thing we were missing was like bleachers. So no one had anywhere to sit down. So people were sitting all over the park and in the grass. There was a lot of beginners, a lot of guys who had never skateboarded there. Less old guys than I expected, but a lot of new generation. So I get out of my car, I bring my dog, and right when I show up, I see a big commotion. People are talking about fighting in the parking lot. There's a bunch of, 16 and 17-year-olds or 15-year-olds all like huddled around saying, "Don't fucking fight him, man. You're going to fuck up the whole event." Oh, and then the other half is like, "Go beat his fucking ass. He's ruining it for everyone." And I was there like, what's going on? And then one guy noticed me and they were like, "You're Skate Ninja." And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck Skate Ninja is, but I heard it. I kept hearing that for the entire day. "You're Skate Ninja." Well, it's Ninja Lifestyle or Steve Hates Skating. It's what I would have preferred, but Skate Ninja happened over and over again. And one guy pointed at me, said Skate Ninja. And a lot of these younger teenagers ran up and they were like, "Holy fuck, it's you. I didn't know you lived here." And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is my barbecue. Like, this is the bunker reunion barbecue, right? Like, I'm one of like the original 10 people that skated this park. And they're like, "No, you're the Instagram guy." And I'm like, okay, cool. And I swear to God, I haven't gotten this much attention in years, in like 10, 15 years, going to a skate park and having people like recognize you. And they formed, bro, no planning. They formed a single file line and they were all taking pictures with me and taking selfies and pictures. And I was chatting with like each one of them. I had a little chat with everybody. And then there was some other like local skaters, like older guys that I don't know that well, that ran up. They're like, "Oh, fuck, dude, it's you." Everyone was pretending to be my best friend even though most of them were just acquaintances. And then all the people that I actually did want to see, they ended up just being regular people, like always. But yeah, it was funny to me that they all knew me from Instagram, Steve Hates Skating. And also, this is a little bit confusing, right? So I go online and I make fun of pro skaters. That's sort of the whole gimmick, right? And I make these videos to try to make everyone laugh. Try to make you laugh. Bro, the kids who were taking pictures with me and hanging out, they weren't laughing. They were die-hard fans. They were like, hey, listen, that video you made about the toe touch, I totally agree. Fuck that guy. And I'm like, no, not fuck that guy. It's a light-hearted Instagram. And they're like, nah, bro, he's pro. He shouldn't be toe dragging. Fuck him. And I'm like, no, you misunderstand. You're misunderstanding the point of the Instagram. And then the next kid would come by. He'd be like, hey, I don't fuck with that heel drag shit. I'm getting fucking sick of it. And I'm like, bro, I don't think you understand what the YouTube is about. I don't think you understand what the Instagram is trying to say. I just want you guys to laugh. And also, I do think pros should clean up their tricks, but I don't think you guys should turn into full-fledged like toe drag supremacists on me right now. And then all day I'm just walking around. Number one, I thought my claim to fame right now, I thought the number one thing was push twice or violation. Because over the years of my YouTube, I've picked up a lot of themes. I'm really I make up a lot of little one-liner noises. For example, sorry. We used to say sorry every time someone fell off their skateboard. You would yell, sorry. And then everyone would laugh. And that became a big theme on my channel. But as Kurt Smooth mentions in the comments, there were kids all around. They didn't even know my first name. Although they should, because it's in the Instagram title. But all I heard was, roll on, grind, roll on, grind, roll on, grind. And I kept hearing that over and over again. And even some of the old guys. And there were people there that were running little smaller, local, skate shop kind of things. And I got to meet, the next generation of people trying to, make their mark on Las Vegas skateboarding. And, I kind of stay away from it. I don't know all the up-and-comers or whatever, but I watched a best trick contest, which it went about exactly as you would expect. Some kid won doing a varial heel flip with a broken board. Not the craziest trick ever seen. Another kid did front feeble, I thought was really good. A lot of basic lip slides and front boards and things like that. A kickflip down the stairs. And then, of course, like every best trick contest, there was a handful of kids there trying to learn how to ollie for their first time ever. They have no business being in a best trick contest, but you know what? It's part of the culture at this point. If you're at any public best trick contest, part of the culture is there's got to be one guy there that can't fucking skate at all. I wish I would have brought stickers to hand out. I handed out maybe just 10 stickers or so. I should have brought, 100. I didn't realize, bro, I'm serious. I didn't realize it was going to be such a huge event. They had music, DJs, they had people, they were serving food. Oh man, beer, everyone was drinking. I just see bro, I'm looking at these 14-year-olds just chugging a fucking Corona. I'm like, bro, you get it, man. I'm not telling on you. Bunch of drunk 14-year-olds. It reminded me of when I used to skateboard at this skate park, and I even got to see a fight. I got to see some skinny scooter kid, against a much larger skateboarder. And I guess the scooter kid had been starting fights for the entire day. So the fight that actually happened 2 hours into the event after I'd gotten there. I got there late. And so I got there, and I told you guys, there was a big scuffle. Turns out the same guy in that scuffle got into another scuffle and then got into another scuffle where the third and final time it turned into a real fight and he got his ass beat. And just a really good group of people, man. I like that skaters are so passionate about skating because I don't get to see that part very often. There was one guy, this kind of blew my mind. And maybe this is obvious. Maybe people know about this. There was one guy that came up to me with a VX1000. And he said, I started filming with this camera because of you and Gonzo. And I said, oh, that's crazy. You know, like, wow, that was fucking 10 years ago. That was 15 years ago. He's like, yeah, one day you guys were here. You were making fun of me. And Gonzo let me hold his camera and film with it. And I said, oh, that's cool. That was nice of him. And that was really normal of me. And he's like, yeah, so now I saved all my money. I bought one. I'm doing film school and shit. I'm filming all the locals. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's cool. He pulls out his camera. It's a fucking, this fucking thing is built like Terminator 1. It's a fucking VX1000 with a gigantic digital LCD screen that's like as big as a TV. Something I've never seen before. And he's like, yeah, a little expensive, but I got this. And it doesn't even have tapes. It records to an SD card. I said, that doesn't even make sense. He said, yeah, I had to learn how to build all this shit. Had to get all these parts. I was like, that's crazy, man. You guys are really, really pushing it to the limit. So anyways, right when I got there, I was like, I don't know how it's going to go. Are people going to be dicks or whatever? And I remember telling you guys last week that there's a lot of skaters. Kind of like going to the bunker reunion. I made the joke that it would be like going to a family reunion. And even though we all grew up together, there's some of us that don't like each other. Well, all the people I don't fucking like didn't show up. So it was all love. It was just a perfect evening. And then two guys tried to give me free shirts. And I was like, hey, listen, I don't want a free shirt. Tell you what, you give me this shirt today, I'll trade you. I'll give you a Steve Hates skating shirt next time I see you or something like that. So just really got to catch up with everybody at the end. Eating some food, drinking some beers, bummed a bunch of beers off everybody. Ate a bunch of food, relaxed for a little while. The sun went down, and my dog started fake limping. You know, the dog was over it. He got a whole day of excitement. He got to meet a bunch of people. His tail was between his legs the whole time. He doesn't like big crowds of people. Like, he has anxiety, but he does like it. He likes sniffing everyone. He's smiling. He likes everyone petting him. But when the music starts playing, he gets a little bummed out. So the time came to eventually take him home. And I said, hey, man, haven't seen you guys for a while. Everyone at this final table was of adult age. So I said, hey, everybody want to go to my house and suck my dick? No, I said, I got to go drop my dog off. Do you guys want to meet up later at a bar and play pool? And half of them said no. The other half said, yeah. I exchanged numbers. I said, we'll go to this bar. I'll be here in 30 minutes. I got to take the dog, feed him, let him out, make sure he's good. So we end up doing all that. We go to the bar. Everyone's drinking, gambling, catching up with each other. We play a couple of games of pool. And this is where it starts to all kind of fall apart, man. This is where the drinking finally started to really become real drinking. And gambled a little bit, lost my money. Some other friends came, some non-skateboarders came, caught up with everybody. I mixed the whole group up. I started playing pool with this guy named Desi. Greatest pool player I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Something's up with you. I feel like you're letting me win. Because he was acting like he was serious. But I could tell in his demeanor. But he wasn't being obvious. And I was like, dude, you're fucking letting me win. I don't... Listen, I want to get better. I want to fucking play the game. My friends are all here. There's not going to be this bullshit where you let me win. And then eventually, I kept bitching at this guy. Finally, he's like, well, I was a professional skater. Yeah, right. I was a professional pool player. I won the big pool tournament in 1999 to 2000. Now I just shoot around for fun. I was like, I fucking knew it. I knew this guy's been a pro player for 20 years. Greatest pool player I've ever fucking seen. Type of guy who's like, oh, I got 2 balls left. Okay, let's start doing triple banks. I'm like, bro, you are fucking around now. And he's making them. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, that was great. Then I start to notice the crowd is thinning out, and I'm just becoming more drunk and obnoxious, yelling at this guy about him being a pool player, and then just kind of like dragging on my friends. Some chicks showed up or whatever, and then I overhear, I think it was my friend Elliot talking to this girl, and I'm waiting to get a refill on my beer, and this girl's like, yeah, whatever, my nickname's Cocina. And I'm like, Cocina? I look over, I'm like, Cocina like kitchen? And she's like, what? And I'm like, Cocina is kitchen in Spanish. And Desi's right next to me. This is when I find out that he's a native Spanish speaker. I'm like, your nickname is Kitchen? And I'm like, hey, Desi, her nickname is Kitchen. It's Cocina. He starts laughing. I start laughing. And this bitch got so fucking mad. She got so mad. I think either she said her nickname wrong, or she made it up on the spot, or she was giving a fake name because she didn't want to get like exchange numbers with Elliot. I don't know the situation, but I know that as soon as I told her that her name means kitchen in Spanish, she got really fucking mad. So then I started doing this thing where I avoided eye contact with Cocina, and I could feel the tension of her just staring at me, wanting me to die. So eventually, not long after that, I got out of there. It was getting late. I had to get dropped off. So that was fine. Everything was good. And somehow I lost my hat. I called the bar. No hat to be found. So that was the recap of what I would say. What year is it? 2025? Maybe the funnest day of the year. The skating and the positivity and the catching up with everybody and the seeing people really skate hard, and then seeing other people that are motivated to either make skateboarding brands or film skateboarding or do their team or push themselves to a new limit in skating, or even the people that came there casually just to beat up a skinny scooter kid. I really appreciated the drive everyone had. So it was it kind of revitalized my faith in local skateboarding, because I'm telling you guys, my faith in skating was at like an all-time low. Anyways, the next day I was hungover as shit, and it was the worst fucking Saturday ever. That's how it's been going. So this week, my skateboarding trick that came out today was a nollie heel flip. I battled so hard last week on kickflip 5-0 to fakie that I said, you know what, this week I'll do something easy. Kind of a cop-out, because I nollie heel flipped into this bank at a park called Pro Park. They painted it so it had become much slipperier. But here's the thing. I've been skating a little bit more often lately, so my body was a little more malleable than it was the first time, or I guess the most recent time I went and nollie heel flipped it. The most recent time I went to try this trick, I also did it because I thought it would be easy, but I took a bunch of falls. You know, it took 30, 40 attempts. I was having like a mental battle, but this time, bro, I landed this fucker in 8 tries, and then I even did a couple of other tricks, and I took a breath of air, said, finally skateboarding is not something I dread doing every day. Because when I can actually ride the skateboard and do it casually without feeling like my paycheck is on the line, it ends up being a lot more enjoyable, which is obvious when you say it out loud. But sometimes that gets lost in translation. The nollie heel flip was easy. Went home, relaxed after the nollie heel flip, took a nice cold shower. And then some friends came over. We ordered some Cuban sandwiches. We tried to order 3 Cuban sandwiches, French fries, and some sides. I guess the place they ordered from didn't speak English. So we ended up with 4 Cuban sandwiches, 1 beef sandwich, and 10,000 banana chips. What's a banana chip? You don't want to know. It's nothing special. So the food was kind of ruined, but it ended up being a fun time. Some more friends came over. I'm really feeling the positivity. I'm feeling the carryover from Saturday. Actually, that was, when did that all happen? That all happened last Saturday, so Sunday was the big hangover day. I misspoke. Anyways, the positivity from that feeling, the high I got from that, dude, I'm still feeling it today. So super good vibes all around. Speaking of that, I've heard a spot opened up on Revive because they kicked off the Asian dudes. Used to be 2 Asians on Revive. Ha! Fuck them. Now they have room for me. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't take that out of context. I'm joking. Jason Park today left Revive, and I made a comment. I said, so there's room for me. The fun story is that back when Shredcast was around, I was like, hey, we're working together a lot. Maybe we could all try and work on something together with the skateboards. And they were like, I think this Ninja Lifestyle guy is a little too edgy. And I'm like, okay, cool. So now that I've started Steve Hates Skating, now that I'm twice as edgy, like edgy in like internet speak, not in real life. Now that I'm twice as edgy, maybe I'll send them my sponsor tape. Okay, can you imagine a Ninja Lifestyle Revive board if the internet didn't already hate me enough? But it's big news. I want to know the tea. I want to know the dirt. I don't think there is any, but if there is, I want to know about it. And the sad thing is, even as close as I am to everybody, I don't think I'll ever get the real story, but I want to know it. I do want to know it. What else happened this week? Well, I bought a whole 12-pack of Steel Reserve, and I'll tell you one thing. I don't want you guys to call me an alcoholic or whatever, but now that I have 12 tall cans of Steel Reserve in my fridge, it kind of feels good to have a tall can with dinner every night. It's lemon flavored. Lemon is a type of fruit. Fruit is healthy. You know, a little bit of alcohol. It's kind of like a glass of wine, right? It helps your heart. It's good for heart health, maybe. Have they ever said that about Steel Reserve 211? Anyways, I think that's what really got me off track, right? After the skate park, I went home, let the dog out, had a Steel Reserve. I was like, hey, these guys are going to pick me up. That's when the night got fucking weird. And we're going to avoid that. I know better than to drink a Steel Reserve on the same night as I'm going to be in public, because it always ends up being me believing I'm the funniest person in the room, but in reality, no one's laughing and I'm just annoying. And we all know somebody like that. And if you don't know someone like that, then it's you. You're that obnoxious, annoying guy that keeps yelling the same joke over and over again, and no one's laughing, but in your mind, you think they're all laughing. So yeah, I got those for $2 each. I know a guy at the liquor store. Now he calls me when they come in. Just the ultimate black hole of Ninja Lifestyle spiraling into alcoholism. No, I'm joking, but the guy, it's a skateboarder. Then the skateboarder got a job at the liquor store. Now he calls me whenever there's a 12-pack of lemon Steel Reserve. I say, okay, cool. Hey, I'm not going to block the guy. So it's been a fun week. Paid my taxes. I'm down $600. Paid my taxes 9 days late. But you know what? It doesn't really matter, right? IRS, because you fucking got it, didn't you? You got it, right? And plus, you don't have any employees anyways. Not a lot of topics today. We're almost at the end of the list already. So let's take this time right now to see if anyone wants the chance to win a free Ninja Lifestyle sticker pack sent directly to your home. All you have to do is answer the question correctly in the chat and live in America. And also, side note, you have to know your own address. I never say that. I never say that out loud, but it's the part that confuses the most people. One of the requirements for winning a pack of stickers online, and I know this is tough, feel free to bring like a little study cue card. You have to know your own address. I know it's in the rules. I'm sorry. The question is, what is the name of the skateboarder who switch 360 flipped down the Carlsbad Gap? You guys may not know this. I once skated the Carlsbad Gap. I ollied it. I think I fell, and then I decided not to skate it anymore. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. I went there on a trip with Area 702. I know Gonzo was there because right around the corner is I think Carlsbad's like an 11 stair, a gap next to an 11 stair. Right next to that is like a 7 stair. And the rail is shaped the same, right? It's a weird, small, like nipple-shaped kink at the top, goes down, and then a nipple-shaped kink at the bottom. And I board slid the 7 stair with the kink. And I think I might have also frontside flipped the 7 stair, but I don't remember. It was in a video called Area 702. I think it might have been called Ground Control, but that doesn't make sense. I think I might be confusing that with a Jason Park part. Anyways, I skated it. It's a real shame that the spot I skated is actually not in the it's not in the video game Tony Hawk Pro Skater. When I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I think it was number 3. I also believe it's in number 2, but I didn't play that one very often. I think it might have been unlockable in number 3 or maybe number 4. Anyways, I would turn my stats all the way down and skate that level in Tony Hawk, just doing regular tricks, backside flip, frontside flip. And I spent hours just skating Carlsbad Gap because the rest of the game seemed too much like a gimmick to me. Anyways, what do we got as far as the answers? Jamie Thomas, wrong. Antoine Dixon, have you ever seen him switch tray flip in your entire life? Wrong. Chris Jocelyn, wrong. Jeremy Ray, wrong. Josh Casper, close but wrong. Johnny Layton is the correct answer. Johnny Layton, my friends. It was also very convenient that Carlsbad is very close to where Cake Muscle skateboards got manufactured. So in order for me to save money on shipping, from them shipping giant pallets of skateboards to me, to save money on that so that I could push along those savings to you guys, the skaters, since I like skateboarders and I don't want to rip them off, I would drive my car down there to the San Diego area, 3-4 times a year just to pick up skateboards and come back so that I could sell them out of my house, keep the cost low. And then I look at brands like Quasi selling sweaters for $100 and a deck with a scribble on it for $80. And I realize that no one actually liked skateboarders except me. It's a shame that my Instagram handle is Steve Hates Skating, when in reality, I was the only one that ever existed on the planet to try to give you guys good quality skateboards at a reasonable price. But we're not going to go on that rant today. Let's talk about escalators. This weekend was Wrestlemania. I'm a big Wrestlemania fan. Psych! Fucking lame. I was a big wrestling fan in 1999. The moment I discovered skateboarding, I kind of stopped being a wrestling fan, although occasionally we'll watch like a Rey Mysterio match on my live stream. By the way, I stream here on Twitch on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Sabu always goes stiff from the gas station boner pills. That's why his backflips don't look right. Anyways, WrestleMania was here, and I wasn't able to watch any of it. I don't understand any of it. My friend just met Chris Jericho at a tiki bar. Not part of the story at all, but WrestleMania is a huge event. Allegiant holds, the stadium that they were in holds 65,000 people, and I'm sure that it was sold out for this 2-day event, which is crazy too, that now they've made it multiple days. Anyways, after people get out of that stadium, it's absolute mayhem. All right, the streets of Las Vegas aren't made for 65,000 overweight people to all get out of one event at the same time, other than maybe the rodeo and country music concerts, which also have the same problem. So anyways, all these fat slobs get out of WrestleMania, and there's not enough room on the street. There's no way to get like ride share. There's no Uber because there's just too many people, too many fatsos. The cars are only so big. I don't know how the planes even got them here. Really expecting to see a lot more plane crashes this weekend, but there were none somehow. So Boeing must have really cleaned up their act after that documentary. Anyways, there was one viral video of these people getting trapped at the bottom of an escalator So the way that our streets work is you can't walk across the street on the Strip. The Strip is the very popular part of the city, the tourist destination. It's where all the bright lights are, all the water shoots off the ground, fire display, all the cool stuff is on the Strip, right? I hate going there. I would never, ever go there because I hate tourists. I hate being squished shoulder to shoulder walking around. I hate people spitting on the ground and me stepping in it. And I hate people trying to sell me tacos after they made a taco on the ground off of some homemade fire pit. It's just a real shitty place to be, in my opinion. If you're a tourist and you go there, you're going to be wildly disappointed. You're going to want to stay indoors. Anyways, they don't allow tourists to cross the street because they're too dumb. I'll explain that. So think about you guys, people that are watching my podcast right now. You guys aren't dumb enough to understand this, but let me break it down. Whenever you guys are in a public place and you want to cross the street, let's say you want to cross at a red light. Typically, there's a button you would press on the red light. You press the button and it says, if you're deaf or blind, it'll say, get ready to cross. And then the light turns green, and as some traffic goes this way, you're now allowed to walk across the street. La 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 la. If you want to cross two streets, you got to wait for the traffic light to change. Well, tourists in Las Vegas, it's a foreign concept. The light turns green, then it turns red. It says stop walking, and people go, I'm on vacation. I don't need to stop walking. And then locals from Las Vegas, they run these people over. I would. I mean, in my mind, you have to crack some eggs, right? You have to make a couple of examples before everyone else figures it out. But the problem is these people are like transient. They're only going to be here for a week. So all the people that watch someone get killed in the middle of the street and turn into a pancake, all those people fly back to their hometown the next weekend. So the new group of people next week, they don't know what happened last week. So they make the same mistake over and over and over and over again. We had hundreds of traffic fatalities over the years. And the city just decided that human beings are too stupid to be able to handle crossing the street. It was just too complicated of a concept. So they built these bridges to go over the streets, which, I mean, fat people and bridges have never really historically gotten along. Bridges don't like fat people because it makes them structurally weaker, and fat people don't like bridges for obvious reasons. So these bridges, they're set up in such a way that to get over them, you take an escalator up, but they're all kind of one directional, right? You can't just, there's no escalator. There's not always an escalator that goes up and down. They kind of want to funnel people in one direction so to keep traffic moving, especially for big events. Anyways, there was a viral video. I'm getting to the story. There was a viral video on TikTok, Instagram, where these people were stuck getting funneled, but they wanted to go up the escalator, but they could only go down. But they wanted to go up. So a bunch of people walked up the escalator, no problem. Just walked up it, no problem. And then you get the Wrestlemania guys. And there was a guy who made it halfway up. And then he hit the plateau. And his body started giving out on him. And he's fucking sweating. He's got his homies. Their arms are out like, grab my hand, bro. All you have to do is take one step every 5 seconds. And you'll be able to beat this thing. And the guy's just huffing and puffing like, I can't make it. I'm too tired. And you see this guy have all this hope in his eyes and his heart walking up this escalator. Struggling as people walk around him and just simply easily walk up the escalator because, I don't know, they're regular human beings with like just survival skills and they just have the most basic ability to walk slightly fast. Anyways, this guy at one point, he had to completely give up. He just looked at his homie, he's like, I can't make it. And he slowly went down. And the joke I made right before the podcast started was the moment that this guy wasn't 80 years old, right? He was probably 30 something, just a little bit overweight, really badly out of shape. And in his defense, he might have been walking all day, walking around WrestleMania, walking to find parking. Who knows how long he walked before he came to the final boss known as Escalator. Also would have been a great name for an and one basketball player. The Escalator! He just travels the whole time. Anyways, so this guy gives up. I thought it would be a great documentary if this could be his life-changing moment. This would be the moment where the whole world saw this guy. He can't walk up the escalator. The comments are brutal and mean. Some of them are very funny. And this will be the moment that he says, you know what? I can't walk upstairs. I need to change my life today. So tomorrow he goes out, shows up to the gym. The next day he eats healthy. The next day he slows down his drinking. No more Bud Lights every morning and every night. The next day, you know, he's having a better day at work. He gets promoted at work because he has better work ethic now. He loses 10 pounds his first week. Second week, he loses 6 pounds. Third week, he's down 2 pounds. He's hitting a plateau, but he breaks through it. He hires a personal trainer, right? The Lifetime channel's writing a movie about this guy, and they follow him around for an entire year. And you know what happens? Next year, this is my vision for like how the documentary would end. Next year, he's back at Wrestlemania. Except this time, they lower him from the rafters like Sting. He comes down like Jared from Subway, except without raping little children. Comes down in a trench coat, like a fat suit, and then he pops the fat suit, rips it off, and it's a skinny guy. And then he does a moonsault onto John Cena. And then he wins the world, what does it stand for? He wins the fucking championship. And everyone cheers for him, and then he walks out of the arena a new man. But his story's just beginning, because even though he's beaten the #1 wrestling star on the planet, there's still one enemy who he has not yet defeated. Oh yeah, it's Judgment Day. He walks over to the escalator. It's going down. He said, I know the escalator's made for going down, but god damn it, I'm going up. And then he puts one step on it. He takes another step on it, makes it halfway up, and then he slips on a banana peel. And he looks up, and glory is so close, it's slipping away. And he says, no. I didn't start eating banana milkshakes every morning for no fucking reason. I'm not eating spinach for dinner for a fucking straight year for no fucking reason. We're gonna finish this thing. So then he gets up and he starts fucking running. And he starts running and you can hear the stomping of his feet. Boom, 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 boom. He's getting closer and closer to the top. And then, oh fuck! The escalator completely falls apart. The escalator falls apart, and it's going faster, and he has to make it. He can't make it to the top, and at the bottom, all the broken pieces are falling, and he sees the one final step. He puts his foot on it and takes a dive. His final dive for glory. There's nothing left. If he falls down, he lands in like the motor area, and he'll be trapped, and then the fire department would have to get him out. But he doesn't have to worry about that. He's not worried. He's flying. He grabs it with one hand. He looks up. And it's John Cena, grabs his other hand, helps him up, and says, you made it, brother. You made it. Can you imagine? Yeah, and if we need to, you know what? We need to make a side quest for Dave Blunt's. Kind of like this. Can you imagine how cool that would be? Did I just make the great WWE? Someone send this podcast to WWE and tell them that I came up with it. I want to be there to see it. I want to be there up at the top. Maybe it'll be my hand instead of John Cena. And then when he gets up there, I'll yell, roll on, grind. Anyways, man, that's all I got for the podcast. What a climax today. One more thing. I rewatched the series Black Mirror. I didn't think it was that good. Don't even worry about it. I usually at the end of the podcast, I tell you guys about what cool shows I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of Black Mirror. I just avoid it. Anyways, the WWE Wrestling WrestleMania comeback story. If someone doesn't turn that into a fucking movie, they should. And that's all I'm going to say. Can I get a hell yeah from everyone in the chat? Also, for chat, you are the winner of the prize. Send me a DM after the podcast so I can get those stickers out to you on Monday. I appreciate everyone for tuning into this podcast. If you didn't make it early and you only caught the end, don't worry. The repeat of this podcast comes out on Sunday, early in the morning on Sunday, just in time for you to tell your friends before your long, miserable day at work. Can I get a hell yeah from everybody? No hell yes today? Extra big shout out to iBookBoy, who donated 1,000 bits. I appreciate everyone who donates to me for telling these awesome stories. And I feel like I make the podcast kind of entertaining. If you wanted to leave me a $1 or $2 tip for my services, feel free to do that. But I know money's tight. So if you can't support the podcast with your money, please support the podcast by telling a friend about it. This is still the lowest, like as far as views, the lowest viewed thing on my entire channel. And I feel like I put so much energy into it, and I'm so proud of it. I feel like we deserve more. But you know what? Maybe maybe I don't, and I'm content the way it is. But I want you guys to tell a friend. Anyways, shout out to Day Day, The Real Griff, Day Day, iBookBoy, D-Trick, Small Paul Raygun, and The Real Griff. I guess we must have lost a few viewers because there was a lot more hell yes at the beginning. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Have a great weekend. I have some good ninja reviews coming out. Let me know your thoughts on just skateboarding in general. Jason Park, Cuban sandwiches, Steel Reserve 211s, and Johnny Layton. Switch tray flipped. Carlsbad. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. Anyways, have a great weekend. As I always say, don't drink too much and don't drink too little. Hey, it's that skate ninja guy. Can you yell roll on grind for me? Roll on grind.